Stay off social media. There's a Spanish guy outside. About 15 years ago, Dave, he wrote today's episode, not me. 15 years ago, what was I doing? 15 years ago? 24 to 2024, 2014, 2009. Oh, I just left university. Yay! Ooh, I think I was on my gap year. I set up a YouTube channel for the sole purpose of having somewhere to post the videos that documented the hilarious drunken exploits of both me, myself, and to document...
The words are really hard.
That documented the hilarious drunken exploits of both myself and my friends. Although it never became popular in any meaningful sense of the word, meaning I never made any money from it, I had about 500 subscribers who would regularly tune in just to see what we'd all been up to lately. I have to say, in like 2008 YouTube, where mostly, I think all I did on 2008 in YouTube was watch, clips of the Ali G show, pirated from whoever makes the Ali G show. But, to get 500 subscribers and just get people to watch you randomly getting up to stuff, I mean, it seems so normal today. But that's pretty wild for 2008, right? Some of the most popular videos included Wii Sports Bowling Perfect Game, which showed me downing 5 pints of cider back to back while simultaneously bowling a perfect game on the Nintendo Wii. By the way, I just mentioned here that Dave is blind.
Duh.
So, I don't think I've ever actually played Nintendo Wii, which is quite a thing. So it's even more impressive. Cattle Prod Duel, a video taken at my friend's dad's farm that showed several of us engaging in a fencing tournament using cattle prods. I'd watch the shit out of that. And 2 blind guys get thrown in a swimming pool filled with moldy water, which is fairly self-explanatory. Oh my god. Sadly, although it would be some years before Karen would secure her own entry on UrbanDictionary.com, which incidentally happened in 2018, she, or quite possibly her male counterpart, who I believe is called Kevin, took umbrage at this last video. After insisting in the comment section that I take it down because it showed despicable disregard for the health and well-being of disabled people. Oh, this is not going to go well. You're like, it's me! I'm the blind guy in the pool! Chill! So she snitched on me to YouTube. They not only agreed with her, but also suspended my account and declined my appeal, even though I had written permission to upload it from both of the blind guys involved, having neither the time nor the money. Oh wait, okay, so if it wasn't Dave, it was a couple of his blind mates or something, but this is classic YouTube though. I mean, sorry business daddy, but you don't always listen. I just got a missed call from YouTube. Oh, I don't know what they want. What do they want? Just before we continue with today's episode, let me tell you about my favorite sponsor, and that is Vessi. Vessi make waterproof shoes, but not just any waterproof shoes. These are waterproof shoes, which, I mean, it's spring right now. Sometimes it could be raining, sometimes it can be warm, and Vessi have you covered. These are the Stormburst low tops, which are pretty perfect for spring. This is a black pair. I actually have a white pair as well, which I've been wearing pretty much all spring. They keep your feet dry if it's raining, but they're also super breathable. So if it turns out to be a nice day, your feet aren't going to sweat into them. You can wear Vessis all year round. You could wear these. You could wear their boots. Hang on. These are their Alta boots, and I swear, you could wear these in summer and somehow your feet would remain cool. I haven't actually tried that. This does actually look super warm, but I've worn Vessis all year round, and they're perfect all year round. Summer is coming up. They sent me the weekend shoe, the first ever shoe that I had on Vessi, actually, although I had it in black. Now I've got it in sort of khaki, brown, beigey color, which is very appropriate from summer. Looking forward to wearing that when the weather gets a bit nicer. Plus, Vessi have a new jacket. This is the Westerly Coach jacket, your stylish companion for those days when the weather just can't make up its mind, rain or shine. This waterproof jacket has you covered. So head on over to vessi.com/blaze for an automatic 15% off your first purchase at checkout. Thank you to Vessi for sponsoring. And now back to today's video. Having neither the time nor money to pursue this further, my channel vanished forever, taking much of my content with it. This turned out to be most unfortunate because about 2 weeks later, I secured my job as a publican, a profession that provided me with many, many more videos that would have been incredibly successful on the channel. While the only person that this really inconvenienced was me, when proper monetized YouTubers get cancelled, it really does have the potential to have wide-reaching ramifications. Yeah, holy shit, does it ever. If it's like YouTube were like, Simon, you can't publish videos on YouTube anymore, I'd be like, well, that's me fucked, isn't it? What am I supposed to do? Do just podcasts like an idiot? I mean, no, obviously people do plenty well on podcasts, and I probably would just do podcasts. Or maybe I'd make my videos on, what's that one with all the Nazis? Or whoever, there's like some platform that some people set up because they didn't like YouTube censoring them or whatever, and it just became like super like shady shit going on over there. And then there's the gambling one. What's that called? Made a video about it. Kick. where they just do like gambling live streams and it's all paid for by like gambling or something. It's weird. It's a weird world outside of YouTube. I'm very happy to be on YouTube. I'm going to be a good boy, because if I don't, and even if that did happen, and even if it did happen and I moved to another platform, it's not like everyone's going to follow me across there. So essentially, I'd be just fucked and I'll just have to live in the streets or get a job. For example, should Simon ever get cancelled, not only would it be a matter of some financial inconvenience to him, but also to myself, Danny, Kevin, Lorelei, Sam, and Julian, as we'd all be forced to get proper jobs, and that's just some of the people on this channel alone. Yeah, it's just some. There's a whole lot of people who write for me, and I would obviously pay them for the work they've done, but then, like, there's not going to be any more money coming in, and I'm not going to have anywhere to put the videos, except for Kick. I don't think there's a huge demand for educational content on Kick, to be honest. While some cancellations are brought about by individual YouTuber stupidity, others have happened because of simple misunderstandings, or much worse, because there are some people out there who make it their mission to be offended by as many things as possible. Sometimes they go as far as to be offended on somebody else's behalf, even if that other person wasn't offended in the slightest.
Instead of dealing with it rationally, you've nominated yourself to be offended on behalf of people who you think are weaker than you, so you've decided to stand up for them, and nobody asked you to do that.
In today's episode, when we're eventually done with the introduction, Dave,
I'm in trouble.
we shall take a look at some of the examples. And I know this introduction was long because it was mostly my tangents. I apologize. There might even be a timer on the screen embarrassing me about my tangent lengths.
I would never.
I totally did.
And whatever.
I pissed them off.
Oh well.
I'm Jaystation faked his girlfriend's death to get more subscribers. Oh my god, I remember this one. And I also just realized that, are we now a T channel? Jaystation, wasn't he the one who was like, I'll commune with her, like I'll use a Ouija board to talk to her after her death or something weird? This was years ago. We've all been there. Well, at least anybody who has tried to make a successful YouTube channel has been there. You're sitting at your desk looking at your depressing channel statistics. Never been there, Dave. Whenever I look at my statistics, I'm like, yes! Views! Money! Except for the months when it goes down, and then you're like, oh god, is this the end? Is it? It is an emotional up and down. It really is. It's quite something. It's like, I'm always like, how do people like do stock market investing? Because, or like cryptocurrency investing, because you'd be like up and down like crazy. You'd be like, yes, I'm mega rich, Bitcoin, woo! And then it like crashes by half, and you're like, oh wait, now I'm worth half as much as I was yesterday. And even though it's just all virtual money that doesn't really, if you're not taking it out and putting it into currency that's actually usable, I'm sorry, Bitcoin people, but you have to exchange it for like, I don't know, fucking money at some point.
If you were a loved one was diagnosed with mesothelioma, you may be entitled to financial compensation.
That would be like an emotional roller coaster, but then I realize I'm also on an emotional roller coaster with YouTube stats. I released a video this morning and it was a 1 out of 10, and I'm like, yes, baby, yes! And then if it's a 7 out of 10, I'm like, oh no, what have I done wrong? Why does YouTube hate me? And then I'll just fall down into a pit of despair. You're thinking of ways to desperately increase your subscriber count. Then it hits you, some sort of prank. Yes, that will do. Everybody loves a prank, don't they? I mean, yes, if you're on YouTube in 2015 or some shit. But what should you do? It would have to be something original. You can't just convince your sister that she's won the lottery. Somebody's already done that.
Who would do such a terrible thing to an innocent child?
I have done that. That was my prank. Before YouTube, I was just a dick and I made my sister believe she'd won the lottery. It was a real dick move. I'm sorry, people were upset with that. I just told this story about how I pranked my sister, and people were like, oh, so you just made her think that she'd won a life-changing amount of money, and then you told her that she hadn't. I'm like, yeah, that's exactly what I did. And they're like, you're a dickhead. And I'm like, yes, I suppose so. Never denied it, though, have I? As you lean back in your chair and take a massive hit from your crack pipe, inspiration strikes. What if you told your entire audience that your girlfriend and fellow YouTuber was dead? Not only will the news spread like wildfire and gain you a huge amount of views, but almost anybody who watches your announcement video will probably just subscribe out of pity. This scenario, minus the crack pipe, allegedly played out more or less exactly in late 2019 and early 2020 when YouTuber Jason Ether, better known as I'm Jaystation, announced that his girlfriend at the time, Alexia Morano, had been killed by a drunk driver. The thing is, although Ether was a successful YouTuber in his own right, racking up nearly 7 million subscribers, the joint venture between him and Morano was nowhere near as popular, as Ether stood at the side of the road pretending to pay his respects at a fake memorial site. He told everybody that her dream was to get to 1 million subscribers, and we were so close. Bro, I forgot the specifics of this, and it is like body shakingly cringe Jay. Whatever the fuck your name was. What was his fucking name? Alexia? Jason. Jesus Christ, Jason, what the fuck? Oh, Jason, I get it. If the fake announcement video and fake memorial video weren't enough, Ethan would go on to record a further video, during which he attempted to contact his departed love via a Ouija board.
Smash the like button right now, guys. 1 like equals 1 prayer for Alexia, guys. Rest in peace. What the freak is that, dude? Just because it's 3 a.m. or something. Okay, I'm just gonna keep on lighting it, dude. There's some weird stuff going on.
Bro, who's that?
What the freak?
Oh my god, Jay.
No.
What number is that?
Dude,
Bro,
that's Alexia's phone number.
Are you serious right now?
Seriously, how the hell is
Answer.
this possible? Dude, I'm not gonna answer this. I'm freaking out right now.
Bro, please answer. I'm telling you.
How is her phone calling me right now?
Bro, I think because you started the Ouija board right now.
Dude, I'm not answering it. I'm not answering it.
Which for some reason is spelled O-U-I-J-A. Like, what the fuck? A stunt which it regularly used to gain views in the past. As you may be unsurprised to hear, the YouTube community, suspicious bastards that you all are, quickly began to not so much pick small holes in his story as to blow massive cannonball-sized holes right through it. Many content creators decided to air their skepticism in their own videos, possibly capitalizing on the story's popularity. Who knows? Yeah, I mean, but that's just media, isn't it? You gotta, like, the video that I got a 1 out of 10 on this morning was Putin and Carlson, the interview. We did like a war of graphics on it, like basically talking about what happens. And yeah, that's capitalizing on a current event. So yeah, that's what we do. That's the business, baby. One of these content creators, Some Ordinary Gamers, claimed that he had contacted the Toronto Police Department and they had absolutely no record of anybody named Morano being involved in any sort of accident. Wait, do they give out that information though?
Honestly, I have no fucking idea.
Although the recording he played between himself and a police officer would have been pretty easy to fake, the officer does appear to provide his badge number, adding a little more legitimacy to the whole thing. Yeah, but also, why would you fake it? Oh, I guess for views, but I don't know. It feels a bit silly. As the smell of horse shit began to permeate through the entire platform, all of the videos about Morano suddenly disappeared. A couple of days later, a new video appeared. In this video, Ether sheepishly admitted that the entire thing had simply been a hoax to gain more subscribers. Bruh, are you gay? Did they throw you off YouTube for this? I think they might have. I think Jaystation did get thrown off of YouTube. He said, I thought the idea of faking Alexia's death and then doing a thing on YouTube, thanking everyone and explaining to everyone it was just to gain traction. He was also very quick to spread the blame around, going on to say, by the way, Morano was down to make these videos with me. All right, Jay. Well done. Throw your girlfriend under the bus. Very manly, Jay. Well done. Everybody calmly accepted this and moved on with their lives. As you may have guessed, that last sentence was a lie. Regardless of whether or not Morano was indeed down to make these videos, she certainly claims otherwise after the fact. In addition, people on social media weren't that impressed about it either. In a tweet that was subsequently published on BuzzFeed News, @TheNathanNS wrote, I'm Jaystation is without a doubt the worst, most disrespectful channel I've ever seen on YouTube. Wanker capitalized off the deaths of Mac Miller, XXXTentacion, and even... How the fuck do you say that? And even faked his own girlfriend's death. I listened to the H3 podcast, and they have this ongoing, like, soundbite or whatever, where the host, Ethan, says XXXTentacion. And I know that's incorrect, because they're always like making fun of him for it. So I went with Temptation. Because is that the correct pronunciation? I don't fucking know. And monetized the absolute fuck out of all of them. But did it pay off? Did he, in fact, gain any more subscribers for any of his channels? Well, initially, perhaps. However, word of what he had done quickly reached the all-hearing ear of the algorithmic gods. Praise them. And his channels were removed from the platform. Whether or not this was a direct result of his prank or the fact that he was publicly telling everybody that COVID-19 was fake and advising his followers to neither get vaccinated nor wear masks is unclear. Well, both are fucking appalling, so let's just get rid of him! Get him off! On balance, I think YouTube is probably better off without his content, especially as earlier in his career, he engaged in those ridiculous 24-hour challenge videos where you break into buildings and attempt to remain unnoticed. Compared to the COVID shit and the the fake death of his girlfriend, that shit is fucking harmless and fine. In fact, I'd say it's awesome compared to the other stuff. It's not awesome, it's just compared to, like, faking your girlfriend's death for views. Like, the fuck, my dude. Interestingly, he did a post on Twitter claiming that his removal was totally random and that he fully intended to sue YouTube for their inconvenience.
Learn English! Learn English!
And he fully intended to sue YouTube for their inconvenience. As far as I'm aware, the lawsuit has yet to take place. James Somerton and the plagiarism scandal. Plagiarism is a bit of a touchy subject for me, yes, me too, Dave. Mainly because of a horrendous mistake I made when submitting my first script to Simon long before I was let loose on Brainblaze. Oh, I remember!
Way off. Spoilers.
I'll let Dave tell it.
I don't think any of us expected him to say that.
The script, entitled The Wreck of the Edmund Fitzgerald, was finished. I just emailed it in and was feeling pretty good about myself. After all, I was going to be a published writer for the first time in my life. You can imagine my distress, therefore, when I received an email from Simon which contained a block of text and a link to that very same block of text online and words to the effect of "care to explain this." Yeah, whenever a writer first starts working for me, I use, I think it's called Plagium, or it's like, I don't know, whatever the number one is when you go into Google and type plagiarism detector. You know, like students use it, so they make sure their papers aren't stolen from someone else. And you can also use it for YouTube scripts. So someone like Dave, new writer, writes me a script. First few scripts, I always run through Plagium to make sure that they're just not, you know, someone's just not lifting stuff from the internet. And if they are, it's like, care to explain this? Because it sure looks like you nicked it. I'm sure, look, Dave still works for me. Dave and I, we're like this now. So obviously it all worked out, but Dave will explain. Due to the fact that I had drafted this script 8 times, something I found unbelievable when I now look back at it and cringe at the quality of my work, I had, in my haste to submit it and ride the high of my smugness in the pub that weekend, accidentally submitted an earlier draft which contained some information that I was referencing. My hands were genuinely shaking with fear at the prospect of having ruined a dream job before I'd even properly started. I wrote back, "Oh, now I feel bad." But it's so serious. You have to take plagiarism so seriously because in my situation, I got a lot of and I've definitely had like a couple of brushes with this, both on the side of being plagiarized, but also plagiarizing. And it's like one of those times, like for me, it's, I'm the buck stops with me. Like if one of my writers plagiarizes stuff and then sends a script to me, and like sometimes you can't check it because the plagiarism checkers won't run against YouTube videos, or like they don't search for everything, or like after like working with someone for a long time, I'm just like, bro, I've never had an issue with you. But it's like, you can't. It's just ethically, it's not okay. And especially if you're like me, it's like, it's just a really bad look. So yeah, plagiarism, close to my heart, close to Dave's heart. I scared Dave. But it's like one of those things you take so seriously, which is why I was quite serious with Dave about it. I wrote back saying that I could indeed explain in one sentence. I'm a fucking idiot. Fortunately, when I provided Simon with the correct version, he was exceptionally cool about my mistake, and the rest, as they say, is history. Tell you what, Dave, I'll admit this now. Your scripts I ran through a plagiarism checker for a lot longer than most people. Because, yeah, now I know you. I'm like, yeah, it was definitely an honest mistake. But back then I didn't know you, so I was like, you know, I ran a lot of your scripts through plagiarism checkers.
Where is the trust?
But now it's good, because it never happened again. While accidentally plagiarizing is one thing, deliberately stealing other people's work and passing it off as your own is quite another. As video essayist James Somerton would find out. I feel like I've heard about this. Wasn't there a really long-ass video? People were asking me about this on Twitter or something. I can't remember why. But I definitely saw this, and I saw the video was like 3 hours long, so I didn't watch it. But I was like, oh no. So who was he? According to an article on vulture.com, which I absolutely did not write and take no credit for, apart from correcting a single typo, James Somerton is a business major who pivoted to doing queer media analysis in bisexual writing. What does that even mean? In the interest of fairness, I suppose it is possible that there was no typo at all and that he actually pivoted to doing queer media analysis in bisexual lighting. But this seems unlikely. Wait, what was it originally? Writing instead of... Did they really? Vulture.com? You let that out? Come on. Come on. You could do better. If, like me, you only had the vaguest idea as to what this actually means, allow me to attempt to explain. Thank you, Dave. I was wondering if I just wasn't, like, woke enough or whatever to understand what that meant. Like, what was it called? In bisexual writing? What is bisexual writing? How can writing be bisexual? How can writing be sexual outside of, like, pornographic writing? Writing's genderless. What? As far as I can tell, and it was fairly difficult to confirm this due to the fact that every single video he ever posted to YouTube has been removed, holy shit, Somerton co-wrote and then read out essays which discuss the portrayal of LGBTQ people in various articles, books, movies, and other media. He would then provide his take on these portrayals as a gay man. Regardless of what would later come to light, he seemed to be fairly popular. Even now, at the time of writing, his YouTube channel, which I previously mentioned contains no videos at all, still has 246,000 subscribers. Whether or not he was actually any good is, of course, a matter of opinion. From the small amount of secondhand video clips I have watched, he came across as disengaged, factually inaccurate, and rambling. I don't mean... oh, shit.
Is that like a personal attack or something?
Dave, don't accuse people of rambling on the channel where it's literally just me rambling, Dave. It makes me feel bad. I don't mean in a cool, interesting way, like Simon rambles. Oh, shit, yes. Sometimes I wonder, though. Sometimes I wonder. More like I stuck these two pieces of text together and didn't proofread them rambling. Although I am aware of my own analytic flaws to enough of a degree that my arrival at this last observation may have been, at least in part, due to my foreknowledge of what happened next. On the 2nd of December 2023, YouTuber Harry Brewis, better known as H-Bomber Guy, this is definitely the video that I saw, dropped a video of such epic length that I believe even Simon may have only matched it on 1 or 2 occasions. Oh my god, I also realized I'm like... I didn't watch the video because it was 3 hours long, and I have so many videos that are 3 hours long. Or maybe at least a few times. Christ, what's wrong with me?
No one knows.
I just shitting all over myself. It's an epic accounting of not only how much plagiarism goes on the platform, but just how dangerous it is and why we should all care about it. In the second half of this 4-hour video, Brewis takes aim at several content creators who he believes to be among the worst offenders, most notably Somerton. According to Brewis, a huge amount of the content Somerton uploaded was plagiarized from other less famous queer writers. Although Somerton sometimes included the names of the authors whose work he stole in the credits, he very rarely made it clear exactly which words in his essays were his and which ones he had copied, often word for word from other sources. Brewis's video was incredibly popular, receiving something in the region of 6 million views in less than a week. God damn!
Jealous?
On a 3-hour video, you're making some bank on that shit.
You're jealous.
And by shit, I mean decent, very good critical analysis of the plagiarism problem on YouTube, to be honest. Like, I didn't watch it, but I know the gist of it. I read the comments. I read, articles about it. It's 3 hours, dude! I don't have 3 hours. In one of the most legendary moves in YouTube history, a move which incidentally quickly shut down any early rumblings that he had only released this video to make a huge amount of money, Brewis announced that any proceeds would be donated to authors that Somerton had stolen from. That is fucking epic, and also sounds like an accounting nightmare. In a refreshing change of pace from the content available today, the video not only made these claims, but backed them up with solid, irrefutable evidence. Just one example of this evidence includes clips of Somerton reading his essays alongside images of the original uncredited text. So, did Somerton apologize and publish correct credit for all of his plagiarized work? Well, no. To clarify, he did release an apology video in which he says the word sorry a lot.
I'm sorry, I'm sorry, I'm sorry.
Look, this happened to me once. I had a video that was bordering on plagiarized from someone else's work. And I didn't know this at the time. I made the whole video, I put it up, and then people in the comments were like, bro, this is really suspicious. In that case, it was like, well, yes, you have to apologize, but you also have to explain what the fuck's going on. For me, it was yeah, one of my writers, I don't even think they did it intentionally. I just think they didn't quite know what plagiarism was and they were borrowing too heavily from other sources. I don't really think, but it was still not cool and it wasn't okay for me. And it's so I explained that. Unfortunately, that person doesn't write for me anymore because that's how it is. And I had a stack of it. I took their videos down and that they'd written, because I'm like, I don't know if this is cool or not. And then I had a stack of scripts that I'd paid for and had ready to record, and I was just like, well, those have to go in the bin because that's how it works. And I like to think I handled it quite well. I don't know. It's difficult to know how to handle these things, but I think you just gotta, like, you gotta fucking own your shit, man. Like, when you do something wrong, you gotta own it, right? Or maybe this is just to such an extent that it's just you gotta disappear from the internet or some shit. I don't know. He also opened the video by saying that he'd just returned from a week in the hospital after trying to do something stupid. I fucking, like, I don't know even how to say this without sounding like an insensitive prick, but it's like, maybe I've got it.
Go ahead, say it.
No one is judging you.
If that is untrue, that is one of the worst things that you can do. And it's like, I don't want to say I hope it's true, because obviously I hope that for nobody, except for some of the people we feature on the Casual Criminalist. But, like, if that's not true, that is so bad. A gambit described by many, myself included, as weaponizing mental health issues, saying he had no intention of throwing his co-writer under the bus before repeatedly doing just that, and claiming that he had no idea how much damage he had done to other creators by copying their work and passing it off as their own. Yeah, when this happened to me, I was like, yes, okay, someone else wrote this for me. Whose responsibility is it? It's my fucking responsibility, because it's my channel. Like, the buck stops with me. Then and only then did he make some vague suggestions about going back and including the correct credits, as well as perhaps giving the proceeds to the original writers. When you're plagiarizing something, when you're taking something wholesale from someone else, it's not about credit. That's still, I mean, it's not illegal because it's plagiarism. It's not, I suppose, if it's just, when does it verge on copyright infringement? I don't know. But either way, it's like, it's a complicated mess. But giving credit isn't enough. You shouldn't do it in the first place unless you're directly quoting, and then you put it in quotes so people know that it's not yours, and it becomes a part of your analysis, not your own work. Am I making sense? Does this make sense? Sorry, this is a topic that is close to me, and I have thoughts about it. Just a few hours after this alleged apology was published, it was removed and replaced with the following statement. Earlier tonight, I uploaded a video apologizing for what I've done, but it's become clear after hearing from several people that I am not in a healthy frame of mind to be posting anything online. I only returned home from the hospital yesterday, so I should have never filmed it. I've deleted the video, but I'm sure it has been downloaded and will be shared by others online. I promise to apologize properly and in detail when I'm more mentally stable. Until then, please only know that I am sorry. As far as I know, no such proper apology was ever issued. Yeah, but this is quite recent stuff, isn't it? The toothpaste prank. As I mentioned earlier, everybody loves a prank. Stop talking. On YouTube, though, only if it was 2015, bro. This is as true now as it was on the 5th of January 1992 when the TV show You've Been Framed first aired in the UK. Although it was not great then and continued to be subpar until 2018. God damn, that had legs. When it was finally taken off the air, if you think about it, it was actually ahead of its time. The only difference between now and then is that if you want to watch ridiculous, mostly faked prank videos, you can do so any second day. You can do so any second of the day. You don't have to wait a whole week to get an hour's fix. That and people are making much, much more money doing it. One such person was the owner of the Ret Set YouTube channel, Ren. Never heard of this. Although he had previously been accused of handing sandwiches filled with cat excrement to children and elderly people and had released videos on his channel that showed him throwing an egg at an elderly man, throwing things at a disabled lady, and throwing a slipper at a couple pushing a wheelchair, the fuck are you doing? This isn't pranks, this is just you filming yourself doing crimes, bro. It was his prank against a homeless man in Barcelona that landed him in serious hot water. Apparently, Ren would accept various challenges from his followers and make videos of himself completing said challenges. Excellent idea, but you can't do it when it's horrible and criminal, or I don't know if it's criminal, but you know what I mean. You gotta have a line, dude. One such challenge instructed him to remove the fillings from a packet of Oreos, replace it with toothpaste, and then convince somebody to eat them. As pranks on this channel go, this one seems fairly tame, even slightly boring. It would have been as well if it were not for the fact that the person whom Ren pranked just happened to be a homeless man. The video, now deleted, obviously, showed Ren approaching the man on the streets of Barcelona and giving him the altered packet of cookies along with a €20 note. 5 minutes after eating the cookies, the man was allegedly vomiting a lot. Really? Does eating too much toothpaste make you sick? At the time, Ren said something along the lines of, perhaps I took this a little too far. Look on the bright side, though. At least it's helping to clean his teeth. Bruh. That is not a good apology. These people need, like, PR. Like, I could do this. I could tell you that's a fucking bad idea. Fucking bad idea, dude. After the internet decreed that this was, in fact, not funny, Ren offered the man another €20 and later tried to give his daughter €300 in exchange for keeping quiet about the matter.
Classy.
Obviously, neither the homeless man nor his daughter did keep quiet, and the would-be comedian found himself in court charged with a crime against moral integrity. According to an article in the Daily Mail, he defended himself by saying, "I do things to mount a show. People like what is morbid." Quickly siding with the majority of the internet, the judge also decided his prank was not funny before handing down a 15-month prison sentence. Fucking hell, and a €20,000 fine. Don't mess around in Spain, god damn. And along with banning him from social media for 5 years. Woo, shit. Is this guy Spanish? I guess so. What was his name? I forgot his name. For some reason in my mind he was just an American because I feel like this was in English or whatever. And so I'm wondering if you go home, like after your sentence and you've paid your fine and you go back to like fucking Connecticut or whatever, can they be like, stay off social media, there's a Spanish guy outside. At the time of the ruling, first-time offenders charged with non-violent crimes usually had their sentences suspended, and fortunately for Ren, this is what happened to him. Oh, okay, so he got a suspended sentence. Very different from a real sentence, because one of them is, you've got to go to prison. So, was this punishment fair? Well, I think that depends on your point of view of pranks in general. Speaking after the ruling, Ren said, people exaggerate over jokes in the street played on a beggar, when surely if it's done to a normal person, they wouldn't say anything. And in that, perhaps, he has a point. It's just not the point he thinks he has. In my own humble opinion, the first rule of a good prank is choose your victim with care. If your victim is indeed excellent, then although they may not enjoy it at the time, your target should at the very least be able to laugh about it later. If he had done this at a party with a group of friends, then it may very well have been funny. However, possibly to increase the shock factor, the majority of his pranks seem to be aimed at the vulnerable, children, the elderly, the disabled, the homeless, etc. This propensity not only shows him in a much more sinister light, but again, in my opinion, puts him far over the admittedly somewhat blurred line between being an excellent prankster and a massive bully. It also makes you colossally tasteless, dude. Guns are not toys. Although the stunts and pranks that we've already talked about resulted in at least partial cancellation for those involved, this last stunt results in an entirely different, more permanent cancellation, more specifically the cancellation of the subscription to the life held by Pedro Ruiz. Ruiz and his partner, Mona Lisa Perez, had built up a steady YouTube following, engaging in pranks and challenge videos. Oh no, is this the woman who shot him through like a Bible?
Spoilers.
Or like an encyclopedia or something, like he held it up and she shot him and he died because the bullet just went through because it's just paper. Woo-wee! However, in June of 2017, they decided to up the ante somewhat. Ruiz convinced Perez, who was pregnant with their second child, that it would be perfectly safe to shoot him in the chest, providing, of course, he took the necessary precautions.
This is not going to end well for me.
This is not going to end well for you, no.
Now, about a year ago, I wrote a Darwin Awards video in which a Russian soldier removed the chest plate from his body armor and replaced it with a stolen MacBook. As I said at the time, MacBooks are superior in almost every field aspect, except that of protecting the user from high-caliber ammunition. As it was, a Darwin Awards video, when the soldier in question had looted the MacBook from the house of a displaced Ukrainian, we all had a little chuckle at his self-inflicted misfortune. Well, I did anyway. This video allows us to add another thing to the list of items that cannot stop a bullet, more specifically a 50 cal bullet from a Desert Eagle. That is a fucking huge round. Like, that is not messing around. Desert Eagles are massive. I really hope that nobody will be laughing at the end. In this video, some of which would later be shown in court, Ruiz held a hard-backed encyclopedia about 1.5 inches thick, or 3.81 centimeters, for the mathematically enlightened in front of his chest while insisting that Perez pulled the trigger. I'm sorry, but a 50 cal round against that? No. Even from the short clip, you can see that she wants no part of it. You can clearly hear her say, "Babe, if I kill you, what's going to happen to my life? Like, no, this isn't okay. I don't want to be responsible." Nevertheless, she eventually does pull the trigger, and we learn that a few centimeters of cardboard and paper are not in fact bulletproof, and perhaps the worst thing about this entire situation is that the couple's 3-year-old daughter witnessed the entire thing. I have a 3-year-old daughter, oh no, she's 4 now. Still, I'm not a lawyer, which will become obvious when you hear what I have to say next, but I kind of think that this was on Ruiz. Yeah, agreed. Like, you can plainly see that she didn't want to do it and that she was very much pressured into doing so. Nevertheless, she was arrested and charged with second-degree manslaughter. Luckily for her child and her unborn child, she was able to work out a pretty sweet plea deal. In exchange for pleading guilty, she received 180 days in jail, 6 months, 180 of which were allowed to be served under house arrest. As you can imagine, her YouTube career is well and truly over, and even if it weren't, she is forbidden from making any money from the stunt as part of her deal. And that's where we end today's video. Thanks for being here. I'll see you next time. There might even be a timer on the screen embarrassing me about my tangent lengths.
I would never.
I totally did.